It should just stay in there.
Take two.
Welcome to Messy Fun Sisters Podcast. I'm Melissa.
I'm Lauren. And this is episode 10.
I wanted them to go, I'm a Trent. I'm an Abe.
We have two
Too late.
extra people here with us today.
Just extras.
Anyway, we had to redo the whole intro. As I was saying, we kicked off the VAR guy.
Last episode 10 we had was with the VAR
Last
guy.
season, episode 10 was with the VAR guy.
And this season, episode 10, we have
Abe and Trent, say hello.
Hi, I'm producer Trent.
What up?
You may have heard of me before.
or heard you.
Well, you're my husband, so.
And I'm Abe. I'm neither of their husbands, but I have been mentioned on 90% of these
Not
podcasts.
90%.
My name has been said.
You're not
a
as
few
cool
times.
as Diami. Diami's been said more. Right?
No.
I haven't even said Diami's name in a long
Man,
time.
Not
I
this
don't even
season.
think this season.
Well, Trent and Abe have their own podcast called...
Tell us a little bit about y'all's
Yeah.
Okay.
podcast.
What
So
is there to know? Oh.
This is the
It's
first time
kind
Abe's
of-
been on our podcast.
Yeah.
But my name has been on here
kinda
a lot, so
regretting
it's
it.
just, it's kind of the same.
Yeah, so we have a podcast we started. The first episode is out, but we're like waiting for it to be put out on all the platforms. Like we're honestly just waiting for Apple Podcasts at this point. But
What's it called?
it's called Chew Doin'.
Oh, kind of like,
Chew.
what are you doing? But what you
Yeah,
doing?
It's kind of like improv. I want to say is like a category. Like we kind of talk about anything and everything.
Yeah, we don't go into it with like a set topic. I
Just,
originally
like,
wanted to,
talk.
but it's kind of like we show up and every day we text each other. On Monday we say, everybody come with topics, and none of us show up with topics.
God.
But then,
They have one more
I mean,
person on their podcast, too.
Yeah. We come up with
yeah.
at
he
least
doesn't
something
matter.
to talk about.
once we
Nathan
talk
never
about one
comes up
thing,
with-
it's like an hour and a half later, we're like, well, we got to go.
yeah.
But it's good. Highest rated podcast on the network. It's not even out yet, but
You have one episode.
That's not
we
out
actually
yet.
have 7 episodes. Or
7?
6.
Six.
We've
That
done
was-
6 episodes.
yeah, definitely
But we've
6.
only released 1.
Yeah.
So
I've only heard one.
we have a few in the bag to release. I think we may or may not release a bunch at one time, like once we get it all out.
I mean, we
But
did that.
we are going to be like kind of ahead of it by like a week or two, just so, because I mean with y'all, it's like y'all two have to coordinate doing the podcast, but like there's 3 of us, so it's
Yeah.
like there's one
Ooh,
more person
okay.
that we have to
Mhm.
try and figure out
Yeah.
we can do it.
We just all have really busy schedules.
We've done pretty good though doing it every week,
Yeah.
but
Except this week.
Y'all didn't do it this week?
We had just so many plans because there's 3 of us.
God.
There's always like another person. This is really tough with my social schedule.
Anyway.
Okay.
All right. We all ready?
No, we're excited for your podcast. Though,
Yeah. I'm
I
glad
wanna
you
hear
guys
more
are
of
it's
here.
really cool.
Is it?
it's like so cool. Okay.
All right. Are y'all ready to do the review of the week? Yeah. I'm glad I have some bass in that, actually. Like
That was
some
me.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Abe's like,
I don't have bass.
review of the week. So this that was Abe, everybody. So this review of the week, we've been doing the last 90 days.
For
How's it
2
been going,
days.
Alyssa? Well, since when this podcast comes out, it's going to be a whole week.
Yeah.
How's you?
What you doing?
She said it.
Ah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Okay.
The only thing that I have a hard time doing is the 30-minute movements.
Alyssa, I gave tips and tricks
I
last
know,
week.
but I'm very tired all the time.
And also, you walk around all day. So those are 30-minute movements.
Yeah. That's true.
Like,
See?
are you trying to close your 30-minute ring?
Yeah,
on your
like
watch?
that's part of the. If you would have listened to our podcast last week, you would have known
I was probably busy
with your
recording
social
my
skills.
podcast.
No, you weren't. We know you weren't. You just told us that.
You just
That's
told
true.
us that you weren't doing it on Monday, but okay. Yeah, you
Well,
just.
we didn't do it like 2 days ago.
Oh yeah.
We were closing our move rings. That's
Oh
why.
my
Okay.
Yeah, so I need to wear my watch. I haven't charged it since we've been back.
Alyssa, it's like your phone. You don't charge anything.
Oh my god! I charge my phone.
What's it at right now?
It's at like 100%.
Wow.
But that's because I've been driving David's car lately.
71.
Almost 100.
That's the best you can ask
I've
for.
been driving David's car lately, so I have CarPlay. So I just plug it in all the time.
You don't have CarPlay on the Jeep?
No, the 2014.
But you don't just have like a plug just to plug it into, just to always keep it charged?
Yeah, you do.
Alyssa.
Why don't you do
I
that?
don't know.
So charge your watch. You'll see how many steps you get in every single day.
Yes.
Every day.
Have you been closing your rings?
Every day. Check yesterday. I was 1
I
minute short,
can't
but like I
check.
did
I
it.
just realized I'm the only one that doesn't have an Apple Watch.
Well, that's just because you gave it to me.
That's true.
You don't
There.
want one?
They're cheap right now. They're $199.
I would,
No, they're
not
not.
The Series 3. I mean, it's not the most up to date, but it's a Series
have
3. It's really
Series
good.
I have a
Series
Series
two?
1.
You have a 0. You have a Series 0, don't you? The OG?
the very first one.
You have an OG.
the
You-
very first Apple Watch.
Yeah.
It's the
so-
very first one, but it's when they came out with the second colorway, like the gold.
So you have a Series
And
0.
yeah.
So the way it happened is I bought Trent an Apple Watch for his birthday, like 5 years ago, whenever it came out. And then 2 weeks later, I wanted my own, so I bought myself.
So then where's Trent's?
So what happened was when we,
What had happened?
when we moved to New York, my which is our topic today, by the way, my battery expanded and the face popped off.
What?
The
I know.
Screen, yeah.
So
Exploded?
well, it didn't explode.
Just that the battery expanded.
Oh.
So we took it to the Apple store, and the Apple people were like, "You can either fix it for $199, or you can just buy a new one for $250." So I was like,
buy
I
a
really
new one.
well, I didn't want to buy a new one either. Like I didn't want to pay the money. So
It's
like,
not
I guess
that
I'm,
much more money.
but I didn't want to have to pay.
We were broke.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't want to have to buy,
Living in
you
New
didn't
York
want to have
City.
to pay anything at all.
I don't want to have to pay anything. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to have an Apple Watch. And Trent was really into watches at the time. So he was like, I don't like an Apple Watch. I like my analog ones like glow in the dark or whatever. And I was like, okay. And he was like, you can have my Apple Watch. So I have his Apple Watch. That's the story.
I do miss it.
Your birthday's coming up.
$199.
Oh my God.
My birthday is coming up, and we are also going to New York for my birthday.
Dun, dun, dun. We haven't even done the review of the week.
Okay. Anyway, okay. So review of the week. So we started on the last 90 days, and Amanda Rose Para. This is her review on Instagram. She said, "It says to use the hour as something for me. ... Does sleep count?"
LOL.
LOL, Amanda.
That's
was
funny.
But I mean, that's a valid question. You know,
It's not, though. You're supposed to wake up an hour earlier.
and then maybe sleep again for another hour.
Well, I guess if you have a newborn like Amanda, then yes.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Is he still newborn? He's like a
Yeah, it's-
year.
No, he's
not a year.
not. He's like 12 weeks.
3 months, yeah. Anyway,
I don't remember. We looked it up when Liam was little. And I don't remember what it was when they're not a newborn anymore.
I don't know either.
It might be
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah.
Wow. What are they, a toddler?
No, they're an infant.
Liam's a toddler.
They're a toddler after a year.
Yeah.
Liam's a
Gotcha.
toddler.
Soon he'll be
toddler.
18 and off to college and moved out.
It'll come quick.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
All right, now it's time for it's our news story of the week.
We were supposed to look for a thing. Oh,
This is, I guess we're obsessed with the Kardashians the last 3 weeks.
Who isn't?
Okay.
We're keeping up. 14
my
tweets
gosh.
about Kylie Jenner reportedly. Okay, yeah, I did not know this until today, so I
Honestly,
don't keep up.
I didn't know either.
You were
Gosh, y'all do not keep up to date with this kind of stuff.
Abe knew. Did you know, Sharon?
I don't follow any of them.
I thought you did.
I don't follow any of the Kardashians, but I do. Their stuff does come up on my explore page quite
Yeah.
a bit, and I do click on it.
So Kylie Jenner broke up with Travis Scott.
Or did the opposite happen?
Ooh.
Okay, well they are broken up, and reportedly Kylie Jenner is now hanging out with Tyga.
That pisses me
And?
off.
Why?
Because, like, why go back to your ex?
Because maybe
They have
she
a kid
missed
together.
him. Not Tyga.
No.
Oh, they don't.
Travis Scott.
Yeah. They have a
Oh,
kid together.
I don't know
Tyga
anything.
has a kid with Black
Blac
China.
Chyna.
Oh.
Who Black China also has a kid with Rob.
Rob Kardashian.
That's all stupid.
And Robert Kardashian.
Also has a kid with
Kris
Kris
Jenner.
Jenner. His mom.
I'm thinking Robert Sr.
Oh.
See what I did?
Oh.
See?
What? I have this in my face. Robert Kardashian is so sad.
What? Wait, I was trying to see the tweets.
Okay.
Before
Read the tweets.
They dated from 2014 to 2017.
Who did?
Kylie and Tyga.
They
Yeah, no, they
were
did it-
together for a long time.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know. That's why I'm annoyed. It's like, why go back to your stupid ex who has a kid with your brother's ex-girlfriend?
Crazy ex-girlfriend too.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, y'all like my sweatshirt? It says 1987 on it. I'm pretending it's cold outside.
It is fall.
It
It's
is.
not fall. It's like 100 degrees today.
I think we're going to get a cold front next week.
Oh yeah, next week we're in the 80s,
Yeah.
60s, 80s.
80s.
Don't say
90s today.
Well, read the tweets, Alyssa.
They're all like pictures. It's like, oh, when Kylie found out that blah, 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 blah. And it's like gifs and pictures. So that was a
Bunch of memes.
bad one.
Oh,
My
man,
bad.
Alyssa.
Well, now we.
But that is
found
news.
out- It is news.
It's really stupid.
Sorry.
Probably fake news.
That's what I looked up originally. That it was a publicity stunt. I'm telling you, they're running out of content.
But
They're
do you
just
think
trying
that-
to drive it?
I saw a thing today that someone said Kim could be president.
How?
Oh, it was on
How?
E True Story, E Hollywood True Story is coming back, and somebody's
No
like,
way.
could what?
It's coming back.
Yeah, and one of the things was, could Kim Kardashian be the next president? And you hear somebody, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like,
I mean,
Because
think
she's
about
gonna
it.
be a lawyer, and then she wants to like progress.
Wow, if she was our president,
can you imagine? No, please.
President
Please,
Kardashian,
Liam's
Yes,
generation.
how
I think they're
can
gonna
I
be-
help you?
Didn't she get Didn't she get like a couple people out of like prison that
Yeah.
were
She did.
wrongfully
She's like
Yes.
trying to
in there?
trying to be helpful. That's why she's going to law school.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That's what she wants to do.
I mean,
Please.
presidents don't really make that much money, do they?
Yeah,
No,
They don't
Presidents
make money.
no, they get paid.
they
Nope.
get,
It's
and they
not
get
like-
paid.
It's
Donald Trump
probably-
doesn't get paid.
Oh, he turned down his pay.
I think it's like $250,000 a year.
I think
It
it's
is, yeah.
They
400.
definitely make more
think it's
than
400.
that.
No,
Yeah,
it's, not,
I
it's
think it's
definitely not a
400.
mill. It's not
I think
a
it's
mill.
$400,000 a year.
I'm looking it up.
Oh, so it's not
Let's
as much
bet,
as
let's
I
bet.
get paid, but
I'm voting more on the 2 to 250 range.
I think 400.
Abe,
I'm remembering this
I'm
from
gonna-
school.
gosh,
don't look it up.
I was about to. I'm gonna say no. 275,000. No. 300,000.
Ellis at
400.
Me and Trent are at 250.
Oh gosh, do I want to change my? No, 300.
I'm 2 to 250.
You can't go
Okay.
over.
Okay.
Okay.
This
I'm
says
still at 400.
from Wikipedia.
$399.
Former presidents receive a pension equal to the pay of the head of an executive department. Executive level 1 would be paid. As of 2017, it is $207,800 per
Yeah.
year.
So we all lost because we all voted
I
over.
was
we
closest.
both
We
said
said you can't go
You
over.
can't go over. It's like The Price is Right. You're guessing the showcase.
No, I
You
said
can't go
200
over.
to 250.
he did.
you 250
The only
is
reason
over.
I said that though is because
Yes.
she said 250.
When can you give
so I
a
wanted to be
range
a
of
little
an
bit
answer? You
different.
can't give a range.
Not on The
you
Price
have
is
to
Right.
say, yeah. Jeez.
Well, I would have said 200 because she already said 250. And
So-
we're married, so we would both get
yeah.
the prize.
Good job, babe. When we're
That
over.
was
Why did we redo a high five?
Because the first one sucked.
That's the whitest thing
But
ever.
We
also,
did
you
it last podcast, but you weren't here. You missed all of our questions.
You're like, Trent, can you please look up? Oh,
also-
he's not in here.
you've also got to think about they don't spend any money on like their food, their housing,
Nothing.
and all that sort of stuff.
Their airplanes.
That's still more than I make.
Their air conditioning, all that kind of stuff. They get all that for
Housing.
free. So
So they are making
That
a
is-
good amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, I read Michelle Obama's book and she was talking about like all the stuff that they get, and it's like housekeeping and babysitting and like all this stuff that they get as a.
Must be
what a
nice.
pain to move out of that house after 4 years and being like, well,
Actually, that's how she started her book. She was like, I was alone in my kitchen
Yeah.
making a sandwich, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that's how she started.
I
it.
guess it would be because you finally are alone. You don't have somebody on you at all times.
I mean, they still get the Secret Service.
It's a secret.
afterwards.
Jeez.
Secret Service. The Secret Service still like comes out and hangs out with them and stuff. All
They just hang
former.
out.
Have y'all ever met or been close to a presidential candidate? Just wondering.
It's funny. You should ask.
I just had a memory that I have been.
When?
I hurt myself.
Stop. Why is that so funny?
Hey, you guys.
That is like the most random
don't get
thing
it.
to ask. I could just imagine you at the bar like, hey, what's up? Have you ever like met a president or been in the president?
Or being
president?
close. Okay, I know you mean like in proximity close, but I'm thinking like best
I thought
friend.
like friends. I was like, I don't know.
I meant just like close to.
Alyssa, who
But
are
I was
your
like, you would
friends?
know.
Have you ever been near? Nearby.
Yeah, nearby.
Have you ever nearby to president?
What was your memory? What was your
Stop
memory?
making me laugh. I was
ahead.
at school. Stop, Lauren. I wouldn't have laughed as much if you weren't laughing.
It was just funny. The way you asked.
Ow.
I'm hurting too. Okay,
But
give me some water.
I don't have old lady pains like you.
Oh, it's so sad.
I just have laughter pain.
Okay.
Anyways, I was in school, in beauty school one time, and Mitt Romney was there. And I saw him, and I waved to him, and he waved back to me.
Did he almost win?
He was the Republican candidate.
Oh, that's right.
I said
With Obama.
presidential candidate.
With Obama.
I've
So-
been in close proximity to Trump when we lived in
Really?
New York. Yeah.
You
We're
were?
on the same island.
Yeah.
Manhattan.
Well, no, I was like making deliveries to the like
Trump
places
Tower?
around the Trump Tower, and they had all the stuff blocked off.
True. That was always weird when they had it like that. This is a little bit of a stretch, but you know, Rudy Giuliani, he ran at one point,
Yeah.
and I fixed his wife's phone at the Apple store.
That's
so that's
kinda cool.
kind of an extension.
Close. 6
Judith
degrees.
Giuliani, I see you. And I fixed her phone. She was my first customer ever at Apple.
Thanks for
I
listening.
thought it was Keenan Thompson.
Keenan was my next one. That's with his girlfriend.
Okay, you.
Kel
oh,
is on America's Dancing with the Stars.
America's Dancing with the Stars? Wow, is that a new show?
America's Got Talent.
With the Stars.
Yeah.
America's Got
Kel.
Stars.
I feel like
He's a Christian.
George. I feel like been in the presence of George Bush, but I don't know when.
Because we're
Was it
in
a
the
baseball
same
game or something?
state. We're in the same state of him.
I
so
feel
you
like
feel his
he would
presence.
be calming to be around. George Bush is just a nice old man.
I feel like if he would be around, I'd be like, how the hell did you become a president? Because all I hear about is he's like a silly person.
Yeah, but maybe silly and smart.
I just thought of that. I just thought of that video. Was it somebody threw something at him?
It's a
and
shoe.
He like ducked it. And he's like,
He smiled. He's like,
or
You
was
know-
it him that some
Yeah.
loud bang went off and he's like, you missed. Or-
That's Ronald
that was
Reagan.
Ronald. Yeah. Okay.
Ronald Reagan like got shot. I think he got shot actually.
He did.
And then he went to speak like maybe I don't know later I don't know how long of time, but a balloon popped, and like literally he was reading his speech, yada yada yada. The balloon popped, and he goes, "You missed."
Like without skipping a beat.
Yeah, he was
too.
like, and then America is the greatest. You missed,
Oh
and we
my
are still,
gosh.
yeah.
But he was also really funny with hecklers because there's that one video where somebody's giving him crap. and
Ronald
all he-
Reagan?
Yeah, and he just turns to me and goes, shut the hell up. And then he just keeps talking. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but also I feel like Donald Trump does that too, and people
But
do
it's not
not
as
find it
funny.
that endearing.
Donald Trump is a little different. It's little.
Maybe he will, like, never mind.
What?
I don't want to say. I'm just thinking, because you know how people, like, history kind of changes as people, like, talk back on it?
Yeah, people used to hate George W. Bush. Now
exactly.
he's
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so I'm
Compared
wondering,
to everyone else.
I'm wondering if that. Oh, I forgot I had freaking eyeliner on.
Oh.
I'm wondering if that will happen. Probably not, but for Trump,
he's about to get impeached.
There is no way that anyone's going to look back and be like, that was a
Yeah.
great 4 years.
Maybe in 100 years.
especially people in the
But now that everything's
Northeast.
documented so well, you look back, they didn't have
That's true.
tons of it. Now everything's like, you have the worst videos of Trump and
What
everything.
if
There's no way.
Abraham Lincoln was just
Shout
like
out.
Trump.
oh Abraham.
What if Abraham Lincoln was just like Trump, but we didn't document that well?
Oh, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's tons of presidents that
I'm
were just
sure a lot
weirdos.
of the presidents were.
How
terrible.
sure? Oh, yeah.
Well, because power
What are the
changes you.
odds?
how do you
Wow,
know?
that is so good. Yes.
Give me an
Anyways,
example.
okay. Let's get into our topic.
Well,
for
speaking of
today.
Trump,
Speaking of Trump, today we're talking about New York City.
whoop, whoop.
I've invited these three lovely people to the set to talk about New York because they've all lived there. You like the set, huh?
Yeah,
This
we
is
have.
such an awesome set. Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks.
Wow.
Chew doing podcast.
What you doing? Okay, so let's start with Abe because you lived there first. Tell us a little bit about yourself
last.
since this is your first time on the pod, and then tell us why and how many times you've moved back and forth to New York.
So I'm Abe. You've heard my name plenty of times
Oh,
on here.
my
So I've lived in New York twice, and actually, I just found out tomorrow, October
Third.
3rd.
October 3rd.
Oh,
It's October 3rd.
10-3. Wait, is that Mean Girls Day?
Yes.
I moved to New York on Mean Girls Day. My goodness. So
October 3rd.
tomorrow is the 6-year anniversary of the very first time I ever moved to New York City.
How did
And
you just find out? You said I just
I
found
was
out.
scrolling-
We were literally
through-
talking about
Yeah.
this at dinner earlier.
And I scrolled through my Facebook memories while I was sitting over there, and it was my going away party the night before, my 30th going away party, the night before I moved away.
But then that was
And
your first going away.
that was my first going away to New York, and I lived there for almost a year, and then I moved back, stayed here for 2.5 years, moved to Colorado, then moved to New York for 8 months, and now I'm back here.
What a 7 thing to do.
I know, I'm such a 7. Wow.
You
But
really
yeah,
are.
so I've lived.
Super
I know,
7.
and we were talking today, and I'm not gonna lie, like I would do it a third time, but I'd have to be. We'll get into this more, but I would have to be like wealthy to go back.
You would
Like,
leave Faber?
I would open up their New York branch when we take over.
Okay. We're not. We're
But
Texas.
also, yeah, I would have to be comfortable. I wouldn't go back and live with like 5 other people.
Like
No,
how you
which one?
did.
Yes, and 2 cats, and a
Wait.
lizard.
You had 2 cats?
I did not. My roommate did.
Oh, you didn't even have Titus when you went back.
Mm-mm. Nope. Rest in peace. Just kidding. He's at my parents' house. He's at my parents.
Like nobody told us Titus died. Oh man.
Yeah. So that's me. Lived there twice. Maybe a third time. We'll see.
Alrighty. Okay. Now next to Trent.
So my wife and I moved to New York in
I'm the wife.
June 2017, and we lived there for a full year, longer than Abe.
Well, combined, I lived there longer.
And yeah,
Cool.
That's it.
I mean,
Good podcast. Bye.
And that's the end of our ding ding.
No, I wanted to.
I mean, what do you want to know?
I wanted to ask y'all like what. Okay, let me ask this: which area would you most want to live in if you had the income that you have right
Money
now?
was no option.
Money was no option.
I just
Shout out, Carol Ann.
First, do if money was no option, and then
no option.
It's money is no object. That's the right way to say it.
The joke is money. Okay, anyway,
Okay,
sorry.
sorry.
Inside joke, everybody. If money was no
object first, and then do with the income that you have now. Well, with like a normal average
Like, just like-
American income.
Yeah.
That's
We do not get average income.
Let me
We're
look. Let me look
pretty
at
rich.
the. Let me
Just
look at the
kidding.
average American income and let y'all know so that y'all don't have to give away your income.
We lived on the Upper West Side.
Wow.
We made a little bit more than we were making now, but not really because it's so expensive there.
Yeah.
But in terms of where I would like to live, I really like the Upper West Side, but if I was to move back, I would want to live in the financial district.
That's if money was no object.
option.
Stop.
No,
yeah,
it's not like,
I would definitely want to try living there.
Is that where all the rich people live?
No, that's where all the rich people work.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much. But
Financial rich.
That's why I said live. You said no.
I loved living on the Upper West Side. We lived closer to Riverside Park. I think if we were to move back, I would still want to live on the Upper West Side, but closer to Central Park.
Oh, Central Park West, that drive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Gosh.
Because it's
Maybe even-
quiet, or
There's
I
a good,
just-
good vibe there.
There's lots
so
of good vibes on the Upper West
there's like
Side.
the major
what kind of
streets-
vibes?
There's the major
Good.
streets that are running like up and down.
Uh-huh.
Like we
Yeah.
lived on Broadway. And then the side streets are just neighborhood streets. So they're super quiet at night. Nothing's going on there. But the major streets, it's just like living in the city.
It's like
there's
we live
so
off
much
Broadway,
stuff going
too.
on
Yeah.
on the major streets that you feel safe because there's so many people out at all hours.
I felt everywhere I would go alone at night, at midnight, walking around, going to CVS, going to get pizza, go by myself.
and that $1 pizza or $5 $1 pizza. That'd be nice.
They have that.
They
have
do?
$1. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
But all I'm saying is I felt safe being on the Upper West Side, just walking by myself if I wanted to. If I wanted to go get a pizza at 1 a.m.,
Yeah.
there's always people around.
Yeah.
I felt so safe there.
I want to go back.
I felt
with y'all.
safer there than here.
Not move.
I
there.
agree.
Really?
I do too. I felt way safer there than I did here.
Abe?
Yeah.
Even
well,
where you used to,
mine,
the last place you lived.
Okay, let me explain.
Okay,
this.
do your.
If money was no object, Carol Ann, I would. Oh man, I would live in Tribeca.
Ooh, that's a good
Or-
one.
That's where Caroline worked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would live in Tribeca or Financial District, like the real nice part of Financial District along the water. Or lastly, someplace like West Village.
So for those of you who don't know where the financial district
I don't.
is
Tell me.
or Tribeca, so the financial district is pretty much at the tip of Manhattan, like the bottom,
The bottom part.
the bottom tip, the tip.
Just the tip.
I'm gonna say tip one more time. Tip.
Manhattan
Um,
is shaped.
Yep. Tribeca is a little bit more to the west, and it stands for Triangle Below Canal.
Yeah.
So it's like a little triangle right there. So Tribeca. And
What's that one thing on How I Met Your Mother where they went into a new neighborhood? And it's, I'm going to look it up.
I
Go
think
ahead.
are you sure it's not Schitt's Creek?
No, it was How I Met Your Mother.
Okay. Oh, no. It's Baby Mama. We watched it the other day.
Weeby Soka.
Yeah. Weeby Soka. Okay.
Webster beneath Southern. I don't know, something.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Trent. Trent's done with the conversation. So what are you doing? Trent just got up and did something. Okay. So, and then Upper West Side, obviously that makes sense. Everybody, it's on the Upper West Side of Manhattan.
But I think, Taoist Trepla. And it meant if I can find it.
There's a lot of like little neighborhoods like that, especially in New York. Like you got Soho.
But it's fake because it means downwind of the sewage treatment plant.
Ew.
So it, like they were like, "What's that smell?" Because it was like the new up and coming neighborhood, and it was like they just called it Dawesi Tripla or whatever.
Yeah.
Dawesi Tripla. The way that we're considered Nobo here.
What is
North
Nobo?
of Broadway. North Broadway.
North Broadway. And
Why
then
wouldn't it be?
Which makes no sense
No
because
bro. No bro. Sobro.
no, listen. Yeah, Sobro used to be right there. It was a pizza place across the street, and it was called Sobro because it was South Broadway.
Oh.
So we're South Broadway, not No Bro.
But I think
Yeah, Nobro would be more like
Yeah,
Alma
we're
Heights.
technically south of downtown.
no, we're
No, you're
South.
not.
Or north downtown.
Yeah. But I
That's
think
weird.
I think when the Broadway strip goes further than us, I think then that'll be called
no bro.
Sobro.
What?
Sobo. Whatever.
Anyway,
Anyways,
back to New
so-
York.
But that's not the
I-
neighborhood. The neighborhood here is the Pearl.
True.
Right. But okay, so speaking of so good transition.
Okay.
Because we're talking about the names. So financial district is called FIDI.
Yeah.
For finance.
It
But
is?
that's
FIDI, yeah.
We call it FIDI. And okay,
That's
don't give that look.
stupid.
But that's
Everyone
where
calls it Fidei.
Okay, no, I don't.
but that's where I lived the first time. I lived in FIDI.
Ew.
Seaport District. What? And I lived down there,
Seapo.
and it was what's it called?
Seapodai.
Sipo.
Sipofidai.
Sapodai.
Sipofidai.
Sipofidai. So I lived in Sipofidai, and it was amazing. Not
I'm drunk.
not dangerous. It
Light.
felt safe. I never felt like anything was ever going to happen down there.
And then
The second time, I lived in this really cool neighborhood called Spaha,
What's
Spanish
that?
Harlem, also known as East Harlem. And it was not as glamorous as I thought it was.
But
gonna
you
be.
would tell everybody you lived on the Upper East
Well,
Side.
here's the deal, guys. I actually lived at 1660 Madison Avenue. So I was a Madison Avenue person. So
Madison Avenue and what?
and 110th Street.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Go ghetto. So
but I thought that everybody was saying that Harlem is like the up and coming.
well, there's a difference between Spanish Harlem and regular Harlem. You have Harlem, which is directly north of Central Park. I lived in East Harlem, directly east of
do they
Harlem.
still call it Spanish Harlem?
A lot of
Spanish people. are
yeah,
there.
Spanish people live there.
Well,
except the
yeah,
area
but
I
that's what
lived.
I'm saying. Doesn't it sound kind of racist? Like,
No.
no. Now that you're thinking of it,
I'm trying to think if there's any other neighborhoods that. Yeah, it's very West Side Story.
Spanish
That's what it's about. West Side
But-
Story.
That one, I went and saw. I needed to find an apartment quick. I had just moved back, and I was living on the couch with a friend, and so I went and saw this place, and it was the biggest apartment I've ever seen in New York for my budget. The living room was humongous, and the bedrooms were a decent size, elevator building, and all that. And I ended up just being like, you know what, I like it. I need to get out of my friend's apartment, and let me just get this. Well, like a few months later, I realized, oh, it was super close to work. 4 subway stops. I could go door to door in 20 minutes,
Dang.
like tops. Or I could walk along Central Park. I was right at the corner. So, Central Park, but the ghetto part of Central Park. So, anyways, whatchamacallit? So about 3 months in, I finally realized I was like, oh, I'm surrounded by the projects.
Yeah.
Like it was my building and then a couple other nice buildings and then project. And I finally realized I got that Citizen app where you can track crime like live in the moment.
oh no,
It was the worst thing I could ever gotten from my neighborhood because I was like, oh, there's a shooting right across the street. I heard like a couple gunshots throughout the 8 months I was there.
What was
and
that
just-
blue thing in the sky when y'all lived there?
Conspiracy theory. We have no clue. Still
You
to
know
this
what it
day.
really was? It
We
was.
literally talked about that on our, was it episode
This
6?
last one.
Podcast.
I'll tell you what it was. It was right before Game of Thrones came out, and it was HBO advertising for the Ice Dragon.
Somebody said it was a gender reveal party. But yeah, and so that one wasn't as fun the second
You know
time
what's
around.
funny?
I think I would have still been there if I would have had a better neighborhood.
Carol Ann actually missed. So the express stop after us kind of
Yeah,
was the
cuts
stop
over.
was the stop that Abe would take to go to his apartment the second time. Carol Ann missed the stop one time and went to 110 Is
Yeah.
it Central Park North? And she said she got out and then she saw like this really large woman with no shirt on, huge tits, painted, just walking around. That's Harlem.
It's a change from the 96th Street station to the 110th. You're like, oh. But here's the deal. I never felt like I was going to get like shanked or robbed or anything there. It was definitely just more like it was rougher.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like it really wasn't dangerous. I mean, there were a bunch of people, like young people too, that were just walking around.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't as
Because it was
But-
cheaper.
And
yes,
right.
absolutely.
and to be fair, like you would see when we got off at 96,
Yeah.
all the white people got off the subway.
Yeah.
It was.
That's racist.
It's
Well,
not.
so
I
is
mean,
Spanish Harlem. So
I mean, it's not. I mean, that's just what I would
where they
see
live.
every single time. I'd be like,
Yeah.
well, all the white people are getting out now.
but it's
Well,
also
the,
just
the
And
stop
that's-
difference was pretty, like the distance was pretty great. Like it's like
Yeah, it's
it was
not
the
even in the
first
same
stop
neighborhood.
where it was just like, all right, these stops are going to be a lot longer distance from each other.
Yeah.
The and I will say that I do agree. Out of all the places I lived, I felt safer always walking around in New York than I don't feel unsafe here, but I definitely feel safer there because there's so many people around, and nobody really messes with each other unless you start stuff. You know what
Right.
I mean? And when you have that person that's maybe on the street just yelling at you, "What are you looking at?" Blah blah blah. It's because
look.
usually something's wrong. Like
Yeah.
they might not be all there. They might have like mental illness or something. They're never really gonna do anything.
Yeah.
They're just yelling at you.
They're yelling at something, like, and so I never really felt that unsafe. Like last night I went walking around the Pearl, and there were times on the way back I was walking down Pearl Street and turning here, and I was like, something could totally happen to me here, but I would never
Because you were
feel
by
like,
yourself?
yeah, and just I don't know, it's different.
Like if
It
you were to
definitely
ask
is.
me right now, it's 9:30 to go to the Circle K on the corner and get something, I'd say
Oh.
absolutely not.
Yeah,
But if you were to tell me, at 12:30 to
Get
go,
me a pizza across the street from your apartment.
even just to
100%
walk,
fine.
even just to walk to the diner that was 4 blocks down, at 12:30 by myself, I would totally do it because it's fine.
That's so weird.
Isn't
I
that
think
weird?
it's because here the city, and this is gonna sound so cliche, but like here, well, they always say like New York, like it never sleeps, and it's true. Like it really
Yeah.
doesn't. Everything is constantly going,
Yeah.
so there isn't ever really like a down period, at least in the highly populated areas.
Yeah.
As we're here, it's like a certain hour hits, and it's like, all right, everyone's indoors. Nothing good happens if you're out late. But in
Right.
New York, it's like
Everybody's awake.
everybody's out at all times. So
Yeah.
it doesn't feel as crazy.
You know what's funny? When we were in Switzerland, around 11, no, it's like 12 to 1, everything closed. Like everything was closed for lunch. We would see the kids like getting off on their bus stops and like, I'm like, is school over? Or are they like, did kids take break from school and go home? Like it was so weird. Like everything shut down in the middle of the day for lunch. And then everything shut down early too. for
And
dinner.
in Fredericksburg, everything closes at 5.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
freaking annoying. All right, next.
Okay, I wanted to ask what your number one recommendation would be for a tourist if they only had one day. Breakfast, tourist stop, lunch, dinner. Breakfast,
Trent, you go first.
breakfast, tourist stop. Okay, breakfast meaning coffee, tourist stop, lunch, dinner, nighttime. So 5 things.
So if I was only there for a day, I would probably go get coffee in Financial District. Just because you can kind of see everybody like going to work, and it's kind of cool just to see how the city operates like down in the Financial District. For lunch, I'd probably
But
go.
what coffee shop?
Oh, probably Black Fox.
Yeah.
It's like an Australian, like it's an Aussie.
Actually,
shop.
I'm mad at them.
Why?
Well, I always like to ask if they have vanilla because I like vanilla. And the guy was like, vanilla? I can't even do Australian. This is at Starbucks or however Australians talk. And I was like, I freaking know. Like, I'm obviously not at Starbucks. Like, I was so pissed. Anyway,
Did you sell it to him?
No, I was surprised that he said that to me.
Of all people.
I know, and I was like, I was
Do you
kind of
know
in shock.
who I am?
But one thing I wanted to say about the financial district about Trent is like it's the financial district so cool is because the roads are so tiny. Because it was like the first part that was colonized, developed. So the roads were built for horse and carriage.
Manhattan was all farmland above
Yeah.
Financial District.
Yeah.
Farms. They had rivers in it, like flowing throughout.
Interesting.
So it's so cool. So you can just like really quick cross the street because it's so tiny. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Trent.
So I would do that for coffee / breakfast. For lunch, maybe 14th Street, Chelsea area. Walk the High Line. There's a lot of good food down there. For dinner,
So you think the High Line would be like your touristy stop?
yeah, during the middle of the day.
The guy who did the Highlines from Alamo Heights.
Oh way.
That's
The
cool.
architect or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Diami.
For dinner, I don't know.
Or like
Man,
nighttime.
For
like
nighttime, I feel like
As a tourist.
as a tourist, I would probably go to Rockefeller, just because,
top of the rock thing.
or just in that
I've never done
area,
that.
just because it's really cool looking at night. There's lots of lights. You can go get some halal guys.
Hells yeah.
There's tons of shopping, Fifth Avenue. Yeah, I would probably do that at night, or maybe Tribeca for dinner. I don't know.
What are you doing on your phone?
Yeah, what the?
Writing down my things.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking on my
Remember
phone.
we
I'm
went to
writing it all down.
Tribeca. We were going to go to that one dinner place, but they were recording a freaking movie.
They were.
I was with y'all.
Yeah, they were recording the Bollywood
Yeah.
movie.
And didn't Carol Ann, it was right next to Manon.
Yeah.
Manon.
Yeah.
Manon.
Mama. Mama. It was right
Dang
next
it,
to
I still
mommy's.
have Carol Ann's apron from there.
You do got to
Oh,
give it to her.
I
She'll
know.
be happy.
Probably
But if
still
I was
smells
there
like
for
Joe
only
Jonas.
one day, I would want to stay somewhere where all of the subways stop. So either in Financial District or Midtown, because
Yeah, that's it, really.
Because then you can go.
you
like,
can literally
anywhere.
go
Yeah.
anywhere. Yeah,
If
it's just the easiest to get back or
That's
go
cool.
anywhere. We are going.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask all about that in a second.
Okay, so my breakfast place or coffee, I would want to go to Stumptown in Greenwich because yeah,
It's so good.
because you're literally right there by NYU and you can see all the people. You can go see that one thing, Washington Square Park.
That one thing. Aren't y'all staying by there?
No, we're staying in the East Village.
Oh.
Man, that was like our every Saturday.
Yeah, we would go there almost every Saturday.
To Washington State Park?
Square Park.
Square
State Fair.
I said park, but I said state.
So that would, I would go. I would like to go to, and then if you're gonna go do a touristy thing, I would say go to the World Trade Center, the Freedom Tower, and do that whole
Yeah.
thing. That's really really cool. Very emotional to see everything, but you are so high up and you get to see basically all of Manhattan and Brooklyn and everything. For lunch, Jack's wife Frida. Go to Jack's wife Frida. It's so awesome.
You went there for your birthday.
Yeah, probably like in Soho. Soho? Was it in Soho? There's a couple places like Chelsea, Soho. We could go there. And then for dinner, I would say go to Brooklyn. Go to Julian's?
Yes.
Julian's.
You have a mic, Abe?
Julianne.
It's
I would go
literally
there.
right behind the original Grimaldi's. It's in Dumbo. And
What does that stand for?
Dumbo is down under Manhattan Bridge overpass. So the story is Mr. Grimaldi, sold Grimaldi's to somebody just to make money or whatever. wasn't happy, and then opened Julian's like literally right behind the original Grimaldi's. It's like the same owner, pretty much the same
Did
recipe.
we go there too for your birthday?
No.
Where did we go? We went to some pizza place.
We went there with
Sbarro.
Lauren and Travis.
We went with Lauren and Travis to Julian's. It's so good. There was a line out the door, and there's always a line out the door.
Oh, okay.
And Grimaldi's is dead.
Yeah, it's
Really?
funny.
Nobody's there.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I ate there. I waited
Where did
in
we
line.
go for my birthday?
like
Some
an
pizza
idiot.
place in Dumbo.
We went to the pizza place. I remember the pizza
Oh, it
place.
was another. It was like on the street.
Oh, it's at the corner, right? It's on
I
the
think
corner.
so.
I know it's on the corner of Washington
Oh,
Street
and cash only.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was cash only. Yeah, I remember.
Exactly. It's
Um,
right next to Peas and Pickles.
But I
Little
would
stop.
go to Brooklyn because you can see the Manhattan
Oh.
skyline at night and walk. It's really cool. If you're going to New York, recommendations. All right, Abe.
All right.
I know you've been dying to do this.
Oh
With
yes.
your list.
I have literally. This is a tourist. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna send. Okay, I'm gonna do this. So
Okay.
for breakfast, if I'm gonna send them to a coffee shop, I'm sending them down to Toby's Estate in Greenwich.
Meh.
You didn't like it?
I really liked it. Well, this is my list. So
Sorry,
I
I
would send
don't
them to
mean to
Toby's Estate in Greenwich.
shit on
Or
it.
if they wanted like brunch, I would send them right down the street. It was across the street from Jack's wife, Frida. I would send them to the Grey Dog.
The Grey Dog.
The Grey Dog.
What is
yeah,
that? What is
we've
that?
been there.
Grey Dog is so good. And it's the one in
What is
Greenwich.
it?
Yeah, West Village. So it's like a brunch place. It's a coffee house plus brunch. It's open all day. It's awesome. Episode of Broad City was filmed
I was
there.
gonna
No
say
way.
honestly,
Wait.
we went there one time because
Where Alana falls asleep in the restroom with the coffee bag. It's when her and Abby first meet. It's that weird flashback episode.
Oh, okay,
her
yeah.
ponytail gets cut.
Yeah.
It was in there. Yep. And I was sitting there. I was like, oh, this is where it happened. So I'd send them to either one of those two places, but it would definitely be in Greenwich. Greenwich, I feel like in the mornings is such a nice way to wake up. It's very calm, but it is busy. And it just feels very like I'm in New York. For lunch, I also agree, Chelsea Market, because there's so many options in there.
Yeah.
You walk through. But if you're going to go to Chelsea Market, the two places I would go, you go to Very Fresh Noodle.
Yes,
And
I was
it's
just gonna
these-
say.
My ears, Lauren.
It's these
Sorry,
hand
it's so good.
pulled and like flung noodles, and they
I'm
have like
getting
so many
hungry.
different things. It's so amazing. Or there's a place there called Los Tacos Number 1. Freaking amazing. They opened up another one in Times Square, but that's the original.
Is
in
it
Chelsea
Los
Market.
Tacos number 2?
Nope, they still call it Number 1
Why?
Just-
Why would they do that?
because that's their brand. Like they're just calling it Los Tacos Number 1. So
Because they're number one.
They're the
really
number one
good,
taco.
really good tacos. Though.
amazing. Like they compare
better
to San
than
Antonio.
San Antonio, or just
They compare-
comparable.
Yeah, you could get these tacos here.
Yeah.
So comparable, not better.
Yeah,
Yeah, comparable. But then
Did I say comparable?
yes.
I think that's a word. Yep.
Yeah.
Comparable, comparable. I guess they're the same,
Same
right?
thing.
So
They're comparable.
after you get Los Tacos or noodles, you stay in Chelsea Market and you find the Donuttery,
Ooh,
the
that's
little
a good one,
donut
too.
place, and you get 6 little donuts for like
I
I don't
want
forget
donuts
how much.
right now.
You get them sprinkled however you want. After
Babe,
that,
this is so touristy. I like it.
oh yeah. After that, well, I lived there twice. So after that,
Never mind.
you definitely got to walk it off on the High Line. You walk up and down the High Line for a little bit, and you kind of wrap the middle of your day there.
I think Liam would like the High Line.
Aw, my pony's older.
All the people and like the little water stops.
Aw. And he'd just go.
Now, nighttime's going to take you all over the place, but I'll help you get it done. You're going to see everything.
my
okay?
God.
It was just one nighttime place.
Okay. Well,
I said if you have one day there, what
one
would
day
you
there.
do for the
yeah.
nighttime?
So for nighttime, before you go to dinner, you definitely go around Sunset to Top of the Rock or Rockefeller Center. Anywhere around there.
Yes.
It's just magical.
Y'all,
It
I have
doesn't
been
matter
there
what
like
time
3
of year.
times and nobody's taken me there.
To Top of the Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Go
the best
yourself.
observation deck, honestly, in my opinion, the best one.
Better than the
Yes. 'Cause you're
Hotel
outdoors.
Americas.
Yes. It's better than all of them. So it's yes. So you go there. Okay. You do that real quick. And then I also agree. You go to Brooklyn by
Yeah.
Dumbo. And my thing is, I know it's basic and you have these all over the place. You go eat at that little Shake Shack on the corner, get your cheap little burger. And then you walk up to the waterfront. You look at the Brooklyn Bridge, the skyline,
And you drop your phone in.
drop your phone in.
I remember that guy.
What happened?
Abe wasn't with us.
No, it was the four
Did
of
we
us.
tell you about that guy?
No.
Okay, wait. Let them finish and then we'll tell you.
And then while you're there on the waterfront, if you need dessert, there's a cool little ice cream shop
That's
right there. It's a
right.
little shack, and you
Didn't
go and get
hear
ice cream.
dessert. I said
Cash
if you
only.
need dessert. I was like, what does
Dessert.
that mean?
And you stand, and that's how you end your night, looking at the skyline and just chilling. I gotta move back. Let's go.
One time we had ice cream there with Lauren and Travis, and it was legit like 32 degrees, and we went and got
Worth it.
ice cream there.
Worth it. But that would be my day for a New Yorker.
That's great.
They see a good chunk of everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
I
right.
want to go visit. Now.
Wait, tell us the story
I want
about.
to move there, but
Tell the story about.
Okay, I want to say
It was my
It
birthday.
was it was September 11th.
it was on
Um,
September 11th.
Yeah, we went to Dumbo and because they do the lights for the Twin Towers.
What is it called?
The Tribute in
Light.
Lights.
Oh.
Yeah, so we
So
went to
beautiful.
Dumbo
It is
to go look
beautiful.
at the skyline and see the lights. It was great. And we walked to that little park, like the corner, like right underneath the bridge.
Mhm.
And this guy was walking up, like we were taking pictures and stuff. And this guy walked up to the edge to take a picture, and he had his phone, and he literally dropped it in the water.
So he held it over the
He was-
banister.
No,
Yeah.
he was
I think he
walking.
took most
He was
of-
walking, and he was just like,
No.
"Whoa, so cool!" And then it just dropped it, and it like hit the railing, and then it boop,
and he's like looking over, like,
It's like-
no.
it looked.
That's
What do- what
insane.
do I
It's done.
It took
Dude.
him like 10 seconds, and he was just like,
Because okay,
and then
so
he looked around because it's like, how do you call somebody?
and also
when you
if you
don't have
what
your-
if he would have had his
Metro
card
card,
and his
everything.
like his credit card and his Metro card on his phone?
Gosh.
And
That's
how
how I
are
rocked
you?
it.
That's
How are
why
you?
I do
But
not keep that thing.
how are you going to one pay for a Metro card, get home, call people?
anybody.
Yeah.
You're walking.
I
Like,
feel like
Yeah.
you could. I feel like
jump
you could,
it.
You could do that, or you could just ask somebody. Like the people that do ask, like, "Hey, can you get me in the subway?" Or it's like, "Dude, I'm not going to let you in the subway, man. You look ridiculous." But if it's a regular guy, it's like, "Hey, I need a subway. I need
Yeah.
a swipe." You'd like that would probably be pretty easy
yeah.
to get a swipe.
Or
from
when somebody walks through the exit door, just you're in. Gosh, that's so sad.
It was really sad, actually. We were like, oh, no.
We're doing our podcast, and my friend is FaceTiming me with her cute little daughter.
Oh, I want to see.
So in the middle of our podcast,
Hi.
we're recording, we're live,
You're
we're
live.
FaceTiming.
Show her on the screen if Brittany
We're live.
lets you.
Tune in right
Ask
now.
Brittany.
Okay. Bye. See ya. Bye.
Any- so, oh, she's so cute.
That's cute. Sorry. Anyway,
You have to
to
call
our-
her back.
I will.
Drop
But
this
it's
phone.
but it's also 9:45. So by the
Okay.
time we're done, the kids will probably be asleep.
Okay, so y'all are going back.
Yes.
We're all moving back. Surprise.
No.
One day.
Okay, Garcias, tell us about your trip.
We have nothing planned.
Really?
Yeah, that's how we do it. We make like
You have one thing
lists.
planned.
Yeah, we make lists of like places we want to go, and then we just kind of figure it out.
I guess I
Like-
have one thing planned.
The I don't know if you're talking about the one thing.
No.
The main thing planned.
We have the reason we're going is for my birthday, but also because we haven't been in over
A
a
year.
year, like
Yeah.
a year and a half.
Yeah.
So we obviously want to go back and visit, but the reason we're going is for my birthday, and we are going to see Steely Dan because they have a 9-day residency there where they play an album every night, and we are going
Dang.
to
That's
night
awesome.
one, Asia.
Yeah. We're gonna go see.
So
that wasn't
that's
my
like
thing I had planned.
that's the reason we booked this trip is because I wanted to go see them.
Yeah. And I kind of wanted to go last year too, but we didn't have the time or the money to go last year, so we're going this year. The one thing I have planned is my friend Katie is a yoga teacher at Yoga to the People, and I'm gonna go take a class with her. That's the one thing I have planned. We're gonna go hang out probably with her husband too, Katie and Alex, and then maybe see Rachel and Clay. With
Yeah,
their
you
new
have
little
friends
baby.
there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
We actually have friends that that were from New York that actually moved to Austin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Which we need to go see. I'm gonna go see one of them in October, but
It is October.
the end of October, I'm gonna go up to Austin, hang out with her for lunch or something. But yeah, it was. I mean, I feel like the small connections we made in New York, like our friends, like they're still, in our lives, kind of. So I don't know. It's cool to, especially Katie. Like Katie was probably one of my really close friends. You met her,
Yeah.
Skinny
We
Blonde.
ran into her.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
coming off the subway. So
Yeah.
We live
random.
like 2 streets down from where
It
we
was so
lived.
random.
was
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
There was a hotel that was up there that was like maybe 94th and Broadway, which is 2 streets down from where we lived, but we ended up not getting that.
Aww.
I know.
But it'd have been too sad.
I would have cried every day.
Yeah,
Every
we've been-
day.
Yeah, because like you're walking down the same streets,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, I used to walk this every day.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, you guys.
I
We
know.
definitely. So the Steely Dan concert is on the Upper West Side.
So we'll be up there.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna walk past our old place.
It's weird when you do that.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I won't go to the ghetto anymore, but like if I go to like the Seaport district, anytime I would be down there, I would,
Sepofidai.
Sepofidai,
So
I would always stop at my building there, and I would always look up and I'd be like, dude, I would count the windows and I'd be like, dude, that's my room right there.
That's
and it's
so
so weird. You
Was
stand there,
your room.
well, it's true.
Also, we were thinking if we go back and see, like, there was this one guy. So there were 3 people that were very distinct in our building. So one guy, I think his name was Billy, and he was an older gentleman. He used to be a math professor, and he would just like scoot around, like I'm talking like
Old.
inches. He would walk. He's lived there since the 80s.
Yeah, like I saw the oldest lady in the entire world when we were there last time. Did y'all not see her? She literally it was on Canal Street, and she was like this tall, but
What's
like
this
bent
tall?
over and like had a cane and was walking so slow. I thought it was a cartoon. I was like, is this real life? I think David saw her.
Yeah.
Literally this tall and just
man.
like slowly like
I could not be that old in New York because it would take you forever to do anything.
If that's all you
Like,
know.
But I was thinking, how long did it take for her to shrink down? That's
She didn't go to the chiropractor.
True.
Probably. But anyway, so that one man, I remember I was doing laundry and I had like an hour-long conversation with him one time about his life and how this Upper West Side, this 92nd used to be colorful is what he would call it. And it was always with like crime and stuff. I want to see him. There was always this other man with the dog, the
Mhm.
golden retriever.
Yeah,
And then this one little family where I think his name was Justin or Dustin. I can't remember. But I guess in the spring and the summer, he would practice his violin outside and just like play.
Oh,
it was very upper. It was like the most Upper West Side
Yeah.
thing that you could see.
That's cool.
I had
That
people
reminds me-
fighting.
He had like a music stand with like his little music,
Aw.
Be practicing.
yeah.
And then our neighbor
reminds
Tim.
me on Friends when Joey, his neighbor, who stayed there? Rachel stayed in Joey's room. I think it was Rachel. And the guy across the thing was singing, "Morning's here, morning is here." No? Anybody? Friends? Nope.
I don't remember
Well,
that.
the whole thing with
That's all I know about New York.
I will say, the whole singing in New York made me so mad because I'm a car singer.
Me too.
So I can't. When you're even in my apartment, like I had 4 million roommates, so like I couldn't go in my room and just like sing or do whatever, and I couldn't walk
You
down the
could.
street.
You could have.
I know there are some people that are like brave enough to walk down the street and just be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
They do. People
and I'm
do.
like, like, does anyone hear
Just
me? I
put
take
your
out an AirPod.
AirPods in and just sing your
That's
little
true. I'll
heart
never see these
out.
people again.
Literally.
Yeah. I don't
Why
know.
didn't you?
You
YOLO.
didn't when we went? Let's
I
all go
would
back.
have.
no, you wouldn't.
My version
Yes,
of
I
that
would've.
was I would listen to Steely Dan and ride my boosted board on
Dude.
the West Side. like,
You need to vlog
Riverside.
again.
You have the best vlogs, babe.
Seriously, I was just thinking of when you crashed on your boosted board.
that sucked.
Yeah, but that was a good vlog.
It got a lot of views because I clickbaited it.
Yeah.
He did.
It was
Okay,
good.
so one thing I wanted to point out too is the best pad thai I have ever had
Payway.
in my life is Payway. Seriously though, we're going, and I know I'm doing paleo this month, but we have to go to that freaking place. It's the best pad thai I've ever had in my entire life, and it's a freaking food truck.
Oh.
The
How
only
did you
thing,
find it?
because it would come every day to my job, literally right
yeah, I
in
remember you
front
would
of my
talk
job.
about that.
So the only thing I'm worried about is running into old coworkers, because that would be awkward.
be like, I'm not Lauren.
Be like, Lauren Ho.
Yeah, they call me LG.
Be like, yeah, LG.
Or just be like, no hablo inglés.
I don't know LG. I
I'm
don't
like, what are you talking? No, they totally know me, but like,
no, but it would be funny because then you would just make them think
be
that
like,
they're
oh, I
crazy.
have a cousin.
I'm
Yeah.
Lauren's sister Warren, and like just
Or
be like,
Alyssa.
oh, that too.
But I don't even remember the name of the food truck, and I hope they still come and stop at that spot. But
That'd be
it's
so funny, Lauren.
What?
They're LG. No.
No, that's all. That's all.
and then there's another noodle place. So I would go to the pad thai place. I gained so much weight in New York, even though I walked everywhere. But
Same.
the pad
I
thai
don't think
place.
you lost weight in New York.
No, it did not.
I thought
I
I
was
was
the
gonna lose a
heaviest
ton
I've
of
ever
weight.
been.
Really?
Yes. So there was a pad thai place right in front of my work. Forgot the name. And then there was a noodle place. It was like, oh my god, the best like noodles I've ever had. And it was huge. They had been there since the 90s.
Oh.
20
I think I told
years.
Trent. We went. It's called Republic Noodles or something like that.
Oh, I think so.
But they had been there since 90s. The best. I would have the noodles at least once a week too. But they had to close. It was in Union Square. They had to close because they're.
I know exactly where you're talking about. yes. If you're on Union Square, if you're looking north, it's on the west side of the park.
If you're looking at the Barnes and Nobles, it's on the left.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. I ate there. It's so freaking good.
I know, me
but
too.
they closed.
They closed because the rent went from like, I don't know, like $250,000 a month to like $1.3 million a month.
Oh, that was my
Yeah.
rent in Spanish Harlem.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, because I mean, and they were. Oh, it was so sad.
It was good.
It was, and like I'm thinking, why not like
It was cheap,
reopen?
too.
It was so cheap. I'm like, why not? And it was giant. Like the fact that they weren't paying $1.3 million for that huge thing, it would have been like the
Like it wasn't a restaurant like this size. It was probably like 3 of these apartments.
Yeah, it
3,
was
4,
it
maybe?
was huge, but that was another place I'd go to too. I just wanted to point out my favorite pad thai ever in the history of the world
So good.
came from a food truck that was right by my work. I don't even know the name, but it was the best pad thai I've
Would you
ever
say
had.
that
in my
was
life.
your favorite food?
Yes. Trent's had it.
Trent, what was your favorite food in New York?
I want to
I
say
know this
it
is a
was
hard
this place
question.
called Jason's Pickle on the Upper West Side. Yeah, it was like it was Southern comfort food, but
Did you not eat there with us?
Jason's Pickle.
Jacob's
I'm-
pickle.
Oh, Jacob's Pickle.
Jacob's
I'm
pickle.
pretty
Oh,
sure
that's right,
you
it's
did.
Jacob.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you did eat there with us.
Maybe it was Lauren and Travis.
It's Southern comfort. Yeah, we took like everybody that visited
Not us.
there.
I don't think we took them to Mason's pickle.
We took
Macy, did we?
Macy's.
no.
We went to that one
Yeah,
Asian
that's
restaurant
true.
when we first there, and we sat next to.
Kumal.
Yes.
We went to. Oh my god, it was my favorite place too. What was it called? Han's Dynasty.
Han Dynasty. Yeah.
Yep, that was my. I love
What
it.
was his name? What's his real name? His actor name? His like.
Call pen. Anyway,
sure?
sorry, Trent. Go ahead. Your recipe. Just taking over.
Yeah, Jacob's Pickle. But I kind of got tired of it because we went so much.
It's kind of
Um,
expensive too.
Yeah, but it was like really good Southern comfort food. Huge servings. They had it was chicken and
yeah.
pancakes instead of
Oh
chicken
my
and waffle.
gosh. Yep.
Oh, and they had like
I'm getting
bacon bits
so
that they put on there.
We'll be out of here by the time Whataburger opens for breakfast. So we're
Yeah. Yeah, that
Oh,
was a good.
gosh.
Was that your favorite place, Trent, to eat?
Honestly, Avenidas Cantinas.
It was
the-
really
But that's
good.
a
Was our
Tex-Mex
favorite
place.
place. It was so good though.
And it was on the,
the
lower
queso,
west
the
east side too.
chorizo queso was
Not
so
anymore.
good.
Was it just because it reminded you of home?
Maybe they had Big
It
Red.
did. They had margaritas.
Yeah.
everything in there was Texas, and not like cheesy Texas theme. It was like
Texas.
like Texas, like San Antonio theme. Like it was
Tex-Mex,
good.
Yeah.
They
Really
have like
cool. Kinda like a
Texas
Chuy's
license
vibe?
plate.
A little bit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But really good
Man,
food.
yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, when I go back to visit with y'all,
We're
You'll have to
going in
take
2
me.
weeks.
well, I'm saying like maybe next year or the year after.
Hey, what was your favorite place to eat in New York?
It's hard to say just one, but I will.
But you won't.
I would go there all the time. This last time I lived there, this place called Smack.
Oh yeah.
It's this mac and cheese place. Which do you like mac and cheese, Alyssa?
Yeah.
This place, it's almost overwhelming. There's like 30 different types that you can get, and you get it, and it's hot skillet mac. So everybody gets a skillet of mac and cheese.
David would like that. David
It
would
was so good.
probably
And
die.
it was amazing. Well, I went with them. It was amazing, but
Why?
it was just really good.
We were slightly intoxicated.
Yeah.
I
were
wasn't
intoxicated.
intoxicated.
We were extremely intoxicated.
With
when we
y'all?
went.
I guess I
Uh-huh.
was there.
But I go there. So this is
When were y'all there with Abe?
Abe came.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Thanksgiving.
spent Thanksgiving there. So but this is my thing. I would always go there, and then right down the street, anytime I go there, I'd be like, yo, we're going to super fat it up. Like, we're just going to eat everything. I would go there, get a small thing of mac and cheese, and then I'd walk a few blocks and like people watch to this place called Criff Dogs. Criff
yeah.
Dogs. And it's that little
That's where they
hot
have
dog
the-
place with a hidden bar.
Yeah.
But at Criff Dogs,
Please don't
they
tell 'em.
have this. Okay, I won't tell them.
We're staying right
Um,
there too.
Yeah, that's
So,
where our
that's
hotel
right.
is.
So Criff Dog, they have this thing called the the breakfast dog.
Did we eat there when we went there?
We got hot dogs, and then we went into the little
I don't
bar.
remember eating there.
But there's a hot dog called the breakfast dog, and that's like my favorite thing. It's a hot dog with a fried egg wrapped around it, with bacon and cheese wrapped on it.
Oh my
It's
god.
like a breakfast.
Makes
No,
me
no, no,
wanna
no,
throw
no,
up.
no, 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 no.
No,
It's so
that
good.
Sounds amazing.
It sounds terrible.
Amazing. So I would say Smack and then Criff Dog. Like that was my little combo that I would do. And then bubble tea became like my favorite thing.
Oh yeah. Have you been to Bruce Tea?
No, I need to go. I'll go
It's
tomorrow.
So good. Bruce Tea rose milk.
Yeah. And if it's tea, it's got to be healthy for you.
That's
Yeah.
in San Antonio,
Yeah.
everybody.
Sorry, not in New York.
Full of sugar.
Okay,
but-
let's bring it back home
Yeah.
then.
Okay, New York.
What?
Next question.
I was gonna be done.
Oh, I want to continue to talk.
Yeah,
about
I could
New
talk
York.
about this all night.
Okay, well then you asked the
Okay,
question.
so one of my favorite things, speaking of Union Square, is,
Can I
and
get
I
some water,
wish, yes, I wish that the Pearl would do this, but it's so annoying. So Union Square would have a farmer's market what?
I can't get out.
Oh, Union Square would have a farmer's market like Monday, Tuesday, or like Monday,
yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Dang.
I
Is,
know, and it was all day.
What was the bad luck spot?
Yeah, we had
Oh.
the bad.
Oh yeah,
the
with
winter
Joyce.
market in Union Square.
Oh my gosh.
The
New
Christmas
York
market.
during Christmas is the best. If you're thinking of going to New York
Yeah.
and you
Okay,
don't
maybe
mind
next Christmas.
and you don't mind it being a little cold,
We should
it
go.
is so magical being
Yeah.
down there. Trent doesn't like it.
In the good
You don't
part,
like
in the
the
fun
cold.
parts,
I
in the
hate the
Christmassy
cold.
parts of New York, Union Square, anywhere like
Radio
Midtown
City.
and South.
What if we went like right after Thanksgiving?
That'd be fine. It's not super cold.
Yeah, that's
pretty cold, pretty chilly.
don't go
April was so cold.
don't go
when we
in
went.
December.
December's too cold.
Yeah.
Well, if you
No,
That's
don't
what I'm
like
saying,
February. February is ridiculous.
When do they start decorating for
Right
Christmas?
after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't we
Super
go
early.
right after
That-
Thanksgiving?
when we went, they had all the Christmas lights up
When we went
when did
where?
you go?
when you were in town.
Oh yeah, that was right after. Oh, that was before Thanksgiving. But they don't have the tree, like the Christmas tree and all that. That doesn't
Yeah.
happen
Yeah.
until. Like,
But they have
December
all the
1st.
lights and like
they don't light up the tree till December 1st.
It's like they don't do the Rockefeller tree. It's up, but they won't turn it on until like
Yeah.
the first day of December or something like that.
If you don't mind the cold, I would say go
It's
to New
magical.
York during the winter time or during Christmas time. It's so
Window shopping, just looking at the
beautiful.
displays on. I know it sounds cheap, but like Fifth Avenue.
Macy's.
You go and you look at all the window displays, Macy's. It does get dark super early, so you
Yeah.
have to go mentally prepared to like when it gets dark, the day isn't over because it's only 4:00. It's really easy to be like,
it
it's
gets
nighttime.
dark at
Like
4:30.
It'll be like dark. It'll be like nighttime by 4:30 ish.
Yeah.
It'll be dark by 4, nighttime by 4:30.
And be like, get me in bed.
You think, you
Yeah.
leave work and you're like,
It like
well, it's time
added
go
to like
bed.
my seasonal depression.
Yeah.
It
does. It
'Cause
gets
it was
people
like,
there.
oh, I just got out of work. Well, time to go home.
Because
and
if you go to work
bed.
early and you get out around 4, you don't see the sun all day unless you go
Yeah.
outside. Because by the time you get to, it doesn't get light until 8:30ish. So
I mean, I had a window at work, so it's fine.
Fancy.
I had
Yeah.
floor to ceiling windows.
but the one thing, okay, but
No, I
also
didn't.
summer, summer in
Corner
New York
office.
is amazing. But I do say I wish the Pearl did
Summer.
outdoor movies like
In
New
New
York
York?
did.
It's hot.
It's hot, but there's so much to do.
Yeah.
There's a ton
The
of
Pearl
free
could
things.
do outdoor.
What was
There's
that
outdoor
app?
movies somewhere
Time Out?
here.
Time Out.
Time
yeah.
Out. You can look at all the free
Time Out
stuff
New York.
to do.
Tony.
I didn't find a
abbreviation.
lot of stuff in Time Out.
Time Out was good. Honestly, you just get on. There's FOMO Feed New York,
Cute.
FOMO Feed NYC, and you just get on there and just.
Can
it
you not
tells
do that with your foot?
Also, if you're on the Upper West Side, you can just go to the Upper West Side Rag and you can see all the things that are going on.
Also, if you're in Spanish Harlem, you could just never hang out in Spanish Harlem ever. So
Stop calling it Spanish Harlem, you
Fine,
racist.
Spaha.
Racist.
it's literally what it's called.
Okay.
guess
Any
you-
last
you can
any
say
last
that.
things from New York, you
Yes,
guys,
yes,
that you want to talk
tons.
about?
Yes,
I went to jail there.
dun, dun, dun. Tell us. Tell us.
So-
Tell us.
I went to jail in New York, and it was so funny. I was actually at.
Was it
the-
funny?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I had gone to the Christmas Village at Bryant Park,
Oh.
and I was hanging out there.
Which is also pretty badass. If you're ever there in Christmas time, go to Christmas Village
Oh,
in Bryant
go ice
Park. It's
skating, all that kind of
amazing.
stuff.
Who were we with when it was free? Oh, was it Tad?
Tad.
No, it wasn't cold.
It was cold.
No.
No, we were
No,
with Steven.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were with Steven. Because I was like,
Steven. Stephen
sounds-
Coletti from Laguna Beach.
because I was like, I don't
Shout out.
remember.
They have
Michelle.
the ice skating rink out there.
And it's just like a bunch of like little shops. It's
we
awesome.
tried on hats.
It's amazing.
I have a vlog of it. Or Trent has a vlog
I
of
do.
it.
Both of y'all,
Yeah.
I think, do.
It was, I love Bryant Park Christmas
It's amazing.
Village.
Okay,
And that's
so-
when Abe got arrested.
Got arrested.
Yeah, so I went out with some friends that were visiting from California and Louisiana. They had all met up. This was the night of December 30th. So they still had some Christmas stuff up. And we had planned to go to Times Square the next day. We were going to spend all day there so that way we can watch the ball. You have to get there at like 10 a.m.
That's
and
stupid.
stay in Times Square. So we're like,
Not
let's
go
just do
pee?
it. Huh?
And not pee.
You could not.
You
Use the restroom
could.
all
You could
day.
pee on the ground. Like, that's what people do.
Ew.
People wear diapers. Like, it's crazy.
Ew.
Well, so does Liam. But anyways.
He's a
so-
baby.
So anyways.
And Alyssa changes him like every hour or whatever.
I will change my conspiracy
the sounds
theory.
of, the sounds of New York.
Yep. It's just like New York. So anyways, so I'm
I
taking the
can't
subway
hear
home.
this
It's 2 a.m. And I propped my feet up on one of the chairs. And one stop in from Times Square down by Macy's, 2 undercover officers come on, and they're like,
Undercover?
yeah. And they're like, hey, excuse me, sir, get off the train. And I was like, why? And they were like, we're officers and we're telling you to get off the train. So I'm like, well, I'm not dumb. So I'm going to get off. And I just got off a door apart from them. And he's walking towards the train leaves. It's an empty station. It's 34th Street. And I was like, I'm about to get robbed because I'm dumb enough to get off the train, you know? And it's an empty station. He walks.
You didn't ask for their badges or
Well,
anything?
I did. I go, hey, before y'all come in close, like, do you have your badges?
Yeah.
And he was like, why are you asking us for our badges? Like, do you not believe us? And I was like, no, I'm just kind of alone in an empty train station. Like, I just want to know, like, are y'all
Yeah.
like police officers? Well, one of them got really offended that I asked that. He was just acting crazy. And long story
What
short,
an asshole.
I know.
I can.
So
Why, you don't believe us?
he was like, so he walks away to do something, and his partner's like, dude, why did you ask my boss, like, if he had his badge? Like, you know, that made him so mad. I was like, I feel like it's a valid question.
Yeah.
But he was trying to get me riled up. So I was just like, anyways, like, what's up? And so he's like, do you know why we pulled you off the train? You're occupying more than 2 seats. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know the train was empty. He goes, no, sir, the train was full. And I was like, all right, I can tell you're trying to, like, ruffle my feathers. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry about that. Like, I'm new here. I just moved here a few months ago. He's like, they look at each other. They talk. He's like, can I see your ID? I was like, yeah, here's my ID. It's still Texas. And he's like, have you ever been under arrest before? And I think they're just asking me to kind of get like a profile. Like, are you cool? I was like, no, I've never been under arrest. Like, I've never done anything
They
bad.
totally racially profiled.
Oh, probably.
you.
And they meet their quota too. It's
Yeah.
the end of the month, end of the year. So, and also think about it. They don't want to be out at 2:00 at night. Like whenever
Yeah.
they take someone in, it takes up a few hours of their time. They don't got to be out. So he's like, all right, well, you're under arrest for blah, blah. And I was like, hold up. This isn't just a ticket. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to arrest me for putting my feet up on the train. He's like, well, we can't give you a ticket because you have a Texas ID. And so we don't know if you're going to pay it. So we got to make sure that you're good. And I was like,
That does not seem right.
no, it doesn't. So they put me in a holding cell. First off, they take me up by Macy's, which that's crowded above ground.
Were you
Were
like
you in
arrested?
cuffs?
Oh, I was
Cuffs?
already in cuffs. I was in cuffs, and they put me in a cop car, and they take me. But the cooler of the two officers, he was trying to be like, play it cool. You could tell he probably wouldn't have done anything if his boss wasn't being such a jerk.
Yeah.
He has the nerve because they find out where I work and everything like that. We get in the car, and I'm acting cool. I'm not acting up or anything. And he goes,
Yeah, you shouldn't
so
miss
he's
this.
like, what do you think of the new iPhone? And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And I go, hey, so I'm probably not going to talk about that because I'm under arrest right now.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk about what you
Work.
think of the phone. Like,
Yeah.
and he was like, I'm just asking. And I was like, whatever. So they take me to Chinatown, and they have me in a holding cell for about 2 hours. I couldn't make a phone call or anything because if you're not allowed to ever look at your phone. Like once they take your phone up, you can't see it for the numbers. So
You didn't have anybody's number memorized?
I did. I was like,
Oh.
I have a number here in San Antonio. I have my parents and all that. And he was like, I go, yeah, the phone number is 210. And he goes, oh, hold up. It's got to be a local number. I'm like,
There's
who
no
in New York
way.
has a local number? They're all
Yeah.
like transients. So I was like, okay, well, I know a couple of people that have New York numbers. I just got to get their number from my phone. He's like, nope, can't use your phone. And I go, well, I guess I'm not making a call. And so I sat there for 2 hours, and he finally removes me, does my fingerprints. He's like, cool. So what's going to happen is you just got to, you'll have to see the judge. He'll probably hand you a fine. He's honestly probably just going to toss this out. He said that. And I was like, all right, cool. So I just come back in like a month. I get a subpoena or something. He was like, oh, no, you're not released until you see the judge. And I was like, you're kidding me. So they moved me to the holding cell in Fidei, Sepulveda.
Sepulveda.
And right by my apartment, actually, like a few blocks down. And I get there at probably 5 a.m. And they're like, all right, so the judge will be in at 9. Yours will probably be real quick. He'll honestly probably dismiss it. And I'm like, so why am I here?
Yeah.
So they mug shot me, and I'm in a cell,
Oh my God.
probably about half the size of this room with a bunch of other people. You're in your normal clothes and everything. You have everything with you. You just don't have like your phone. And so 5 o'clock rolls around. I take a little nap. I just lean against the wall, fall asleep. 9 o'clock rolls around when the judge comes in. This is New Year's Eve, by the way. It's now the 31st. And 9 o'clock, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m. rolls around. And finally, they call my name. They're calling everybody else every hour. And I go see the judge. I go see my court-appointed attorney. He's like,
So you got
I'm
to
really
think long and hard about what you did wrong.
yeah, it was really punished. And so my attorney talks to me through like our little room. He's like, I'm confused. Did you fight with them? I'm like, no. I'm just like, why are you confused? He goes, well, because this report here just says that you were occupying 2 seats by putting your feet up. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here. He's like, that makes no sense. Why are you here?
Yeah.
So he's like, this is ridiculous. We'll have you in and out real quick. So they move me into the courtroom. Keep in mind, the judge has about 30 more minutes till he's gone. And the next day is a major holiday. He wouldn't have been there. So if I hadn't gone seen that night, I would have been in there another like 48 hours. So the judge, he reads my charge. He's like, I have case number, blah, blah, blah. Occupying more than 2 seats. Are we going to go ahead and get this dismissed? He asked my attorney. My attorney's like, yes, we're calling it for it to be dismissed. We're not sure why he's here. And the judge goes, okay, it's dismissed pending you stay out of trouble for 6 months. Abe, have a good New Year's. And that was it. And I walked out the back of the courtroom alone, and I was able to go.
I would have talked to the attorney and be like, okay, what can I do to sue these 2 stupid cops? Because what if they weren't on
Yeah.
duty? What if they were just
Exactly.
being assholes?
Well, what was funny was, so at 10 a.m., all my friends were meeting me in Times Square. We were meeting at a restaurant down
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So 10 o'clock rolls around. My friends are like, oh, freaking Abe forgot and he slept in. So they contacted my roommates through Facebook and they were like, hey, Drew, can you go wake Abe up? He's supposed to be meeting us here.
Abe.
They were like, can you go wake him up? Like, we're sure
Yeah,
he's
thank
asleep.
you.
Did I say awake him up? You go awake him up. And my roommate goes to my room. He sees that like none of my stuff has been touched. I was leaving New Year's Day to go be
They
in Josh
probably thought
Bourne's
you
wedding.
died.
Well, yeah. So all my suitcase and stuff were still on my bed. And my roommate goes, hey, so I don't think Abe ever came home last night. His room is exactly how he left it. And so
so
my friends
scary.
are like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
They were like, we were about to call the police and like do a missing persons report. And I was like, funny thing, if you would have actually called, they would have found me real quick.
Yeah.
We got him. He's here.
Yeah.
He's safe. He's just in trouble. And so I was
Kind
able
of.
to call collect. I called my buddy David Cupid. His mom's an attorney. So he calls his mom. His mom calls my mom. My mom freaks out and I get out of jail and nothing happens. And my mom calls me. She's like, Abe, you need to just go back to your apartment. You have a flight tomorrow at like 6 a.m. I was coming home for a wedding. She's like, just go home, enjoy New Year's at home. Please don't go out. So I go back to my apartment and I'm on like the 25th floor and I can see straight down Manhattan. I can see the Empire. Everything's like flashing. It's like 2 hours till midnight. And I'm looking and I'm like, nope, I'm going out.
Yeah.
I'm a typical 100%
You're such a seven.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do this. I'm in New York. I have to go out. So I called some friends and they were like, hey, we've been trying to get a hold of you all day. I'm not going to make it into Times Square. So I go out to Queens and I meet some friends at a bar out there. We count down and everything. And you bet I was on the subway, like straight up, no flashing glasses, no like decor. I was
Like
like,
laid down across all this.
You know what?
Exactly.
That pisses me off because there are homeless people all the time that
that
lay.
take up the whole train too when they smell.
Yeah,
So-
well they
they
lay
smell.
on like floor, they lay underneath, and it's so that I
Yeah.
would have I would have done something different.
Yeah. They,
Lauren, you can't. What is it called? Say I don't want to be arrested. What is it called? Refuse
Refuse
arrest.
arrest. I mean, no, but you can be like, you can talk to them and be like, you see why this is weird. I mean, I guess it'd been different for a girl. And
but at that point, honestly, it would have been the whole. If I could go back, I would have recorded the situation.
Yeah.
Been like, cool, I'm just gonna record this for my own, whatever. And
yeah.
there's been a bunch of viral videos
On my new iPhone.
Let me record this on my new iPhone. Do you have any questions about it?
Yeah.
Because I work at Apple. So, but there's a bunch of viral videos of cops in New York arresting people for putting their feet up. Minor violations that should be ticketed offenses.
Ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're trying to meet quotas, get out. And there's like been some really crazy like stuff that's gone on file for like police brutality. They threw a girl down for doing the same thing. She was now she did argue back a lot, but they should have never even asked her to like put her hands behind her back because they should have just issued her a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she got out of it. She won a settlement and all that because she should have never been arrested in the first place.
Yeah.
You could have gotten a settlement, Abe.
I know.
You could have afforded to continue to live there.
I know. I could be living in Sepulveda or whatever.
So
no.
I would have ran.
Just jetted.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I have to go.
I would have jumped straight through the turnstile.
And they were asking me, what are you doing in New York? And now I think back, I'm like, if I would have been smart enough, I would have made up some real sad excuse to make them feel bad for me. Like,
They wouldn't have felt bad for
I
you.
know,
they would have
it's
still
true.
arrested you. Lauren's just scrolling
I'm here
Instagram
for
now.
a family
oh my
funeral.
God.
Whatever. Anyways, that's my New York story. I got arrested. Been to straight jail in the clinkety clink.
That's cool.
Our New
Mm-hmm.
Year's story wasn't that great. It was the coldest on,
It was like the coldest
Oh, y'all
in
did, yeah.
recorded history,
so we
or
stayed
something
inside.
dumb like that.
We went to go get a pizza. A pizza.
A Little
Pizza.
Caesars? Did
A
you just say
pizza
the Little Caesars slogan? Pizza.
I actually called, so the pizza place across the street, I actually called them to see if they were going to be open. And the guy was like, for you, of course, we're going to be open. And I'm like, okay, yeah, for me. And anyway, so we went over there, got some pizza. It like bundled up like 5 layers just to literally go across
Yeah.
the street.
And there's still thousands of people in Times Square.
It was, I don't know how they did that. It was so cold.
Yeah.
And Mariah
we
Carey.
almost went we almost planned a New Year's trip one year, and the weather was like 60 degrees.
Yeah.
And we totally missed out because that would have been the year to go because
I
you're
think I
like
remember
sitting
y'all-
there
yeah.
all day and it would have been like really nice weather.
The New Year's that we were there was like it was like 2 degrees, maybe even negative.
That's
Even that Thanksgiving, we went to the parade. It was super
Carol Ann
cold.
was cold. Anyway, that's the end.
Yeah.
that's the end of the story.
Anyways, so if you guys ever want to visit New York, just hit any of us up.
We
Not
will
me.
gladly
Not
plan
Alyssa.
it. I love planning people's
We'll plan
trips.
it for you. Any last words about New York, guys?
I'm walking here.
I want to go back with y'all.
I'll see.
Can we please do a friends trip again?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
friends. Like,
And friends, friends.
no, I meant like,
forever.
I'll be there for you.
We saw that apartment. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for Chew Doing Podcast being here.
Thank you,
Out
Chew Doing.
Like, share, subscribe, follow us on all the things. Do a review of the week.
All is love. All is love.
Matthew Silver farts hearts.